Who doesn't love the idea of letting go of these stressors of the day with friends, family, loved ones, a glass of good wine, and some fun food? Well, the Italians actually have a name for that, and that is aperitivo. And here at Vero, we love a good aperitivo, but especially with these small production, hard-to-find products that we search for and discover to bring to the US for wine lovers, foodies, businesses, and distributors across the country to discover along with us. And it's that Italian feeling that we all dream of, la dolce vita, right? And the aperitivo is really something that kind of personifies this concept. While at a core definition, it's a drink and a bite to eat, in reality, it's so much more. It's a mindset, a culture, and a beautiful exercise in a balanced, mindful lifestyle. The concept is simple. It is a deliberate pause. It's a moment to shift gears, choosing conviviality and constant motion. This often happens in the evening after work, but before dinner. And it's this Italian ritual of slow living that gives yourself permission to decompress and ease from the workday into the evening with a light sip and delightful savory bites. It's a moment to practice some mindfulness, to think about, reflect upon the day, chat with friends, and get ready for the evening ahead. We want to reconnect with friends and loved ones outside of texts and calls, but in person, sharing a delicious moment of relaxing together. But where does this custom come from? It's believed that the word aperitivo has roots in the Italian and Latin words for to open or an opening, as in to open the appetite. There are similar traditions around the world, from the Spanish tapas to the French apéritif or even the American happy hour. However, no one quite does it like the Italians do. So let's zoom in on that classic Italian cultural mainstay, the Italian aperitivo. While the Romans had a sort of version of the aperitivo, the modern ritual was truly born in the 1700s and 1800s. There is some debate on towns and the customs and stories of how it truly came to be, but there is a lot of consensus that we are looking at the town of Turin in northern Italy. And it is here in Turin that we see the birth of Vermouth, or Vermouth, the original bitter drink that became quickly a mainstay for aperitivos. Created with wine and herbs, it became the drink of the town before long. And the tradition of these bitter, herbal, aromatized wines, kind of like amaro liquors, are really our modern day route to the aperitivo. But a true aperitivo is a blend of three parts: the friends and socialness we talked about, but also the drinks and some good food. So for the drinking portion, it is the historical Vermouth herbal route that leads us to this wine, the Pellegrosso Amal Enolito, an exceptional, supernatural, no sulfites added, aromatized red wine. We actually get this by steeping red wine with herbs and spices. It's like a natural version of a classic Barolo Chinato. It hits with less sweeter but more beautiful, bittery, herbal notes that you love in a high-quality Amaro or a Vermouth, but here in a classic red wine form. Imagine plums that are layered with dark chocolates and hints of rhubarb notes. We can serve it chilled over ice, but you can also heat it up like a mulled wine thing. It's a great botanical-forward way to launch your aperitivo customs. No travel to Italy required. If we move to the east and more towards Milan and Venice, we see that through the course of history, they have actually usurped a little bit of the aperitivo jazz from Turin by creating and making popular the Spritz, one of the more iconic takes on aperitivo. Here, rather than a sumptuous herbal drink, we see light and bubbly Proseccos. And the Prosecco is an essential base for a world-famous Spritz. You can try it with a dash of our crisp Valdobbiadene Proseccos, for example, to mix up with your favorite liqueurs like an Aperol or a Campari to make the perfect Spritz. Or really, you can just enjoy the Prosecco on its own. Like, this Col Fondo is a great aperitivo option too. But actually, cocktails have started to grow in popularity for aperitivos too, especially in the younger crowd. They are moving beyond the classic spiced wines, the spritzes, and the glasses of sparkling wine. And these cocktails are actually giving us a full range of new aperitivo drinks to try. Personally, we love to go for a cocktail wine spritzer effect with using this beautiful lower red option, like Bracchetto, a gently sweet, aromatic red sparkling wine from Piedmont. It boasts fragrant notes of wild strawberries and rose petals and is delightful on its own. But It can be a perfect component to create a fruity cocktail base. We actually have a link to a recipe for such things on our website. I will have that linked below. But actually, this brings me to a really good point, and that is our newsletter. You see, the Brachetto Spritz, traditional Spritz recipes, and so many more we actually have on our blog. And those blogs get sent directly to the newsletter subscribers whenever they're published. If you didn't get those recipes or articles, maybe it means you aren't subscribed. So be sure to subscribe to the Vero newsletter on verovino.com that I will have linked below to get all of our blogs and product news delivered right to your inbox as soon as they get dropped. And in those newsletters, we send out lots of information about new products, grapes, wines, and of course, a lot of recipes. So let's talk about some foods that you might have seen in a Vero newsletter, but actually would be great for aperitivos. And this brings us to also our third thing that makes aperitivos great, and that is the food. The snacks and the food is what takes us from a glass of something with friends to an aperitivo. This tradition is captured wonderfully in the Venice Baccarò culture, where locals will hop between bars having a glass and some cicchetti, or small savory bites. This isn't about getting full, it's about fueling conversation with light flavors and easy to enjoy foods and wines. But it is often seen in Milan, where the idea of serving lavish aperitivo spreads will come from. The modern Italian custom has evolved into almost a more generous Apericena style of aperitivo. It is a blending for the word dinner, cena, and aperitivo. Here, your aperitivo will be spread out so long and with so much good food and wine that it becomes a dinner in and of itself. While, as I said, it's often thought that Milan made this popular, as a girl that has lived here in Piedmont for a long time, not too far from Turin, I actually see another path to the custom, and that is through the merenda sinuera. It's a Piemontese local dialect term for what is essentially an apericena. It's a custom that has roots in the agricultural backdrop of Piedmont, with farmers coming in from a hard day's work, wanting to relax with good food and wine. Nowadays, in apericenas and merenda sinueras, we will see incredible, delectable trays of buffets that really take over the scene. So while classics like charcuterie are a must, we actually see a lot of other more meal-type things coming into play, like pizzas, salads, meatballs, or local takes on cicchetti, like baccalà mantecato or bruschetta. These flavorful bites can balance with the historical bitter-based drinks like the Amala and Alito, or a sparkling Prosecco, delightful spritzes, or even a hint of whimsy with a sweet brachetto. So, are you ready to host your own slice of La Dolce Vita and slow down to enjoy your own aperitivo with friends? For all of our recipes, product links, and guides on how to make your aperitivo authentic and memorable, be it with the wine selection, olive oils, nuts, recipes, Vero is a great source to help with your planning. You can check out the Vero store to purchase your own wines and products, and be sure to look at the blog for inspiration on recipes, wines to try, and what to serve at your aperitivo. So, thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like below and be sure to subscribe here on YouTube and to the Vero newsletter on verovino.com to not miss any more great content from us. I will see you with the next video, which could be this one here. Bye!